Hey everyone, and how are you guys doing today? I am Joe Maring from MobileCupOfJoe.com, and in this episode of Mobile Cup of Joe, I'm going to be giving you my full review of the Nokia Lumia 928 on Verizon Wireless. So guys, this is a Windows Phone 8 powered device. This is the latest flagship Windows Phone 8 device to come to Verizon Wireless. The previous flagship was the HTC 8X. This is the first Nokia Lumia flagship to come to Big Red service, and from what I've seen so far after using it for 2 weeks, it's a pretty awesome phone. Probably the biggest aspect of it, aside from its nice 4.5-inch 720p HD screen, Qualcomm Snapdragon S4 Pro dual-core processors and 1GB of RAM, aside from all those awesome specs, it has a 8.7 megapixel rear-facing camera with a xenon flash, which delivers some incredible low-light photos. So all this in a sexy design for $99 with a new 2-year contract for a very mid-range price point for a flagship device. Is this the Windows Phone 8 smartphone to get? Find out right now in my full review. But guys, before we go any further, please go ahead and grab that coffee cup, fill it up, bring it over, and sit on down. Take a swig for a Mobile Cup of Joe.
Alright, before we get too far in this video review, as always, I'd like to give a big thank you and shout out to our friends over at Verizon Wireless for hooking us up with the Nokia Lumia 928 right here and other awesome Verizon products. You know guys, I've said it before in all my review videos, I'm going to say it again, it really is because of companies like Verizon that do make Mobile Cup of Joe possible, because they send us devices like the Lumia 928 to unbox and review for you guys, our fans. So big thanks to our friends over at Verizon Wireless for the Lumia 928, and let's go ahead and get started with this review. So as with all of our video reviews, we start out the review by talking about the design and build quality aspects of the product. So the Lumia 928 measures in at 2.71 by 5.24 by 0.40 inches, and it weighs in at 5.71 ounces. On the front, you have your 4.5-inch touchscreen right here. Above that, you've got your Nokia logo, your 1.3 megapixel front-facing camera right there. You've got your speaker right here for your headset phone, Verizon logo. Going on to the bottom below the screen, you have 3 capacitive touch buttons, your back button, your Windows button, which is essentially your home button, your search button for Bing, and your little speaker, or microphone rather, right there. Now if we go on to the back of the phone, we do see we have our 8.7 megapixel rear-facing camera with a xenon flash right there. This is a xenon flash, which makes low-light photos look incredible. We're going to get more into that in the camera portion of the review. Above the camera, you do have a little microphone pinhole right there, and below the camera, you have your 4G LTE Verizon logo with a little speaker grill, which surprisingly pumps out some really good-sounding audio. Gets pretty loud, a little distorted, but overall pretty impressed with the speaker grill here on the Lumia 928. Now if we go onto the right-hand side of the phone, we've got all 3 of our physical navigational buttons. The one at the top, the longest one right here, is a volume rocker. Below it is your power/lock button in the middle. And going on to the very bottom is your physical camera capture button. These are all standard on every Windows Phone 8 product. Most of them are placed on the right-hand side like this. Some, like the HTC 8X, which you can see right here, it has the power button placed on the top with the volume rocker and camera capture button on the right-hand side. But for the most part, all Windows Phone 8 devices, or at least all Nokia Lumia Windows Phone 8 devices, have all the power buttons on the right-hand side like this. So that is really standard for Windows Phone devices. Now on the left-hand side, we don't have anything at all, just plain white. Going up top, we have our micro USB syncing/charging port in the middle. Next to that is a microphone pinhole. And then here we have our SIM tray right here, and then our 3.5mm headphone jack. And going on to the bottom, we just have some logos about some security stuff or whatever, I don't know what that is. A bunch of boring little mumbo-jumbo there. And that's about it for the tour of the phone. Now overall, I really like how the Lumia 928 feels in the hand. As you can see here, it's got kind of these flat edges all around the phone, which make it feel very good in the hand. It's very easy to grip because of those flat edges. It fits very nicely in the hand, and the back is also got a very gentle and very gradual curve to it. So it just kind of rests in your palm with the flat edges. You can really get a sturdy grip on the phone. It actually feels kind of like a masculine phone, just because of the way it does feel. Now, unlike most Nokia Lumia Windows Phone devices, this only comes in 2 colors. This is the white model, which is one of them that we have here to review, and then there's a black model. That might be a turnoff for some people because a lot of Nokia's Lumia Windows Phone 8 devices, you can get them in like a red, a blue, and a bunch of different fun colors, but the 928 is only coming in a white and black color models. Now let's go ahead and move into some hardware of the Lumia 928. So on this device, we have a 4.5-inch screen, like I mentioned earlier. It has a resolution of 1280 by 768 HD display with 323 pixels per inch, and it uses an AMOLED panel and uses Nokia's clear black screen technology, which enables for some really, really deep blacks. And as you can see right there, you know what? It may not be 1080p Full HD, but the screen does look quite incredible, actually. Especially on Windows Phone 8 devices with all of your colorful live tiles. Everything just really does pop here on the Lumia 928. Again, Super AMOLED technology with Nokia's clear black screen technology as well is going to give you, again, really deep blacks as you're seeing right here. The blacks look fantastic, and all your colors are very saturated, and everything on here just looks fantastic. Again, 332 pixels per inch is quite a lot of pixels crammed into a display. So you know what, it may not be 1080p HD, but it still looks pretty beautiful. Now in terms of processors, you've got a 1.5 gigahertz dual-core Qualcomm Snapdragon S4 Pro CPU, along with 1 GB of RAM. So while this doesn't sound like a lot of processing power, and really it's not, you can see here that everything runs extremely fluid. You see we're not getting any lag at all. We're going through all of our start screens and applications and no lag. This is because that Windows Phone 8, unlike Android, for example, which is probably the best example, it doesn't require a whole lot of processing power to make everything feel nice and fluid and smooth. To get this level of fluidity on an Android-powered device, you would easily need 2 GB of RAM and a quad-core processor. But on a Windows Phone 8 device, you know, dual-core processors and 1 GB of RAM are really enough to have an extremely, extremely smooth experience. So let's go ahead and boot up a game real quick just so you can see how gaming does run here on the Lumia 928. And let's go ahead and load up Tempo Run real quick. So again, just want to point out that thing about Windows Phone 8 not requiring as much power, because if you look at the specifications on paper, you see like, oh, the Lumia 928's only got a dual-core processor and 1 GB of RAM, when the Samsung Galaxy S4, for example, has quad-core processors and double the RAM. So on paper, you know, it is kind of confusing, but you do have to realize that Windows Phone 8, to get a very nice experience, doesn't require nearly as much processing power. So you can see here we're running on the old Tempo Run right here, running pretty smooth actually. Again, 1.5 gigahertz dual-core Qualcomm Snapdragon S4 Pro CPU, which, while it is a very good processor, is outdated at this point in time because, you know, we've got the Snapdragon 400, 600, and 800. So this is Qualcomm's last generation processor chipset, but it still runs quite well here, running away from these monkeys and such. See here, keeping up really good, a nice frame rate, no real lag whatsoever, very responsive on here with the touchscreen, and everything's just looking really, really nicely. So let's go ahead and stop that, because you can see it's running great. No, we're not having any gameplay issues whatsoever, so it's a very capable processor here on the Lumia 928. The Lumia 928 comes in one model, I believe, 32 gigabytes of internal storage, with no option to expand it via micro SD card slot, which may sound like a bummer, but that's 32 gigabytes of internal storage right here. That's a lot of storage. I never had any issues on here running out of storage. 32 gigs is a lot, but I just wanted to point that out because if you really like to store a lot of your content locally, not in the cloud, there is no option to expand it here with a micro SD card slot, which could be a bummer for some people. Now, in terms of cameras, which is probably one of the biggest parts of Lumia 928, on the Lumia 928, we have on the back, as we mentioned before, an 8.7 megapixel rear-facing camera, which is kind of an odd megapixel count, with a xenon flash, and in terms of front-facing camera, it's 1.3 megapixels. So a front-facing camera, pretty standard. It's something we've seen before. But the back camera, 8.7 megapixels is well and fine, but the xenon flash is really what takes the Lumia 928's camera to the next level. So let's go ahead and open up our photo gallery. I also want to point out this is a PureView camera lens with a Carl Xenon lens technology as well, as you can see right there. Carl Xenon Oh, that's got to be pretty awesome. So let's go ahead and go to our camera roll just so you can see a few pictures that I took. So first I'm going to show you some ones I took in the daylight with no flash required. It wants to focus. So you can see a very nice detail here with this flower. The photos I got with the Lumia 928, while they weren't breathtaking, they still looked pretty darn good. We've seen some better image quality on devices like the LG Optimus G Pro or the Galaxy S4, but the pictures on here still look pretty great. Lots of detail in here on these flowers. This is an excellent photo right here I was able to get. You can just see all the detail here on that very pretty flower. More detail there. See what other photos I can show you good examples of. Here's another one I took in the daylight of my little cat friend. Awesome little cat right here. Detail on the fur and the whiskers is just very accurate. And now I'm going to show you some of the low light photos I took with the Lumia 928. So this is a photo of a bedroom in my house. There were no lights on whatsoever, pitch dark, and just look how well it was able to light up this situation right here. You have good detail here on the screen and on the photo, and again, completely pitch dark, and just how well it's able to light up a room. Let's go ahead and look at another low light example. Let's see. Here's one of a bathroom, because bathrooms are fun. Again, no lights on whatsoever, pitch dark, and just look how much it was able to light up the room. Looks like it's a very good picture here. Again, no lights on at all, and it still looks very good. This is another one taken outside at nighttime. No sunlight and no porch lights, and again, just how detailed it is. Looks fantastic. These are probably some of the best one of the best low light performing cameras I've ever seen on a smartphone. Nokia really knocked it out of the park here with the 928's camera. Easily probably one of my favorite features here on the phone. I'm reviewing the HTC 8X right now, and I've been taking some low light photos with it, and they just don't compare to what you're getting here on the Lumia 928. So it's pretty cool to have such great photo technology here on this smartphone. So now in terms of your data speeds, this is a Verizon Wireless exclusive. So you've got access to Verizon's fantastic 4G LTE coverage zone. Let's go ahead and hop into speedtest.net so you can see some of the results that I was able to get on here. In terms of my 4G LTE data speeds, in terms of download speeds, I average out at around 20 megabits per second with a spike of 32 megabits. In terms of upload speeds, an average about 12 megabits per second and a spike of 16. Let's go to results. You can see right here other results I was able to get. These are all on a 4G LTE coverage with about like 3-4 bars roughly, usually 4. And again, really fast data speeds. Verizon's 4G LTE is probably the fastest I have used to date. AT&T's is catching up, but in terms of my area, my location, Verizon's is the best that's currently available. Call quality on the Lumia 928 sounded fantastic as well. People that I talked to said that I sounded good, and everyone on our end sounded fine as well. And the speakerphone worked exceptionally well. You could talk from a long distance away. People were still able to hear me clearly, and I could hear people with the speakerphone turned on from a long distance away as well. So all in all, fantastic data speeds and excellent call quality here on the Lumia 928. Now, another really cool thing about this device is its battery life. Under the hood is a non-removable 2,000 milliamp hour battery. And again, you might be thinking, you know what, only 2,000 milliamp hour battery, that's not that much, and it's not non-removable, so if it's not a big enough battery, I won't be able to get a new one. But fear not, this battery here is very long lasting. Not the longest lasting I've ever used, but still pretty impressive for just a 2,000 milliamp hour one. If I turn the phone on at about, moderate usage of texting, web browsing, application usage, picture taking. Still had about 18% remaining at 11 o'clock at night if I turned the phone on at about 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock a.m. in the morning. That's pretty impressive. Again, this phone is going to be able to get you through a full day of use. I never had to look for my charger anytime before 8 o'clock p.m. So again, for just a 2,000 milliamp hour battery, still pretty impressed here with just how long this device will last you. Now let's go ahead and move on to some software of the Lumia 928. So the Nokia Lumia 928 is obviously running Windows Phone 8 right here with all your live tile goodness on Windows Phone 8. Just going to do a quick rundown of it. This is your start screen, which is essentially your home screen with all of your live tiles here. Swiping over to the right, you'll get access to all of your applications. What's nice about the application pages here on the Lumia 928 is that if you want to jump to, say, your application starting with the letter S, just hit a letter right here, tap on S, and you're ready to go. So say that I want to go to Facebook, but I don't have to. I want to go to Facebook, but I don't want to have to scroll all the way up to Facebook. Tap the T and tap on F right here, and I'm at my Facebook application. Really do like how this works here on Windows Phone 8. And with the live tiles on your start screen, most of them can be adjusted to 3 sizes. So let's say that we take the messaging tile. So let's say you're not a big texter like me, because I'm a big texter, so I've got that messaging tile pretty big. I can go ahead and hold it down and shrink it down to this size or down to a super small size. So say I'm not a big texter, but I'm a really big caller, I can go ahead and make my phone call tile like that. And let's say that I do a lot of email, so I'll make my email big as well. So you can really have the option to customize Windows Phone 8 just as much as you want to, which I really do like here. You know, it's not as customizable as Android is, but I do like the level of customization that you are presented here with Windows Phone 8. Really is quite nice. And you can adjust, like I said, all these tiles, usually in 3 forms. Some of them can only be adjusted to 3 forms, so like the Instagram, instance, for example, that one can be done in 3. But if we go to, what's one that can only be done to? If we go to Trello right here, we've got this size and the small size, and that's it. So some of them have the 2 small and medium, while some others have the small, medium, and large. So I do like how customization runs here on the Lumia on Windows Phone 8. You can also go to your settings and change the theme of it. So right now we're at a dark setting and Verizon Red, but we can change this to a light, and we can change this to, let's go with a pink because we're manly. We can have a nice little pink and white smartphone right here. The pink is not showing up that great though in the camera lens. So let's go ahead and adjust that to a nice brown. Brown's a very manly color right there. So now we have brown tiles here, and that looks really ugly, but you can see that you can adjust the colors however you want them here on the Lumia 928. But we're going to change that right now because that brown and white is really clashing. Looking mighty ugly right now. So let's go ahead and go back to the Verizon Red and the black. So again, that's how customization runs on Lumia 9 on Windows Phone 8, and personally, I'm a pretty big fan of it. Now, one thing I really did like about Windows Phone 8 that I just noticed here on the 928 is your Me tile. So right here, I have a tile for myself. I can go ahead and choose it, and right here, I'm taken to my own little tile where I've got my profile picture from Facebook, my most latest status update, saying, guys, 139 days until Christmas, which is pretty awesome. Go Christmas. Hashtag Mobile Cup of Joe Christmas. That's going to be a thing. But from here, I can post an update to any of my social networking sites that are synced to my phone. I can check in on Facebook, set my chat status for Facebook right here if I'm busy, away, invisible, or offline. I can go to notifications to see all my notifications from my social networking sites as well. So these are all from Facebook, it looks like. If I go to what's new, I can see everything that I've posted on any social networking website. So I can see my posts from Facebook, Twitter, everything here, which is really nice to have it all tied in. And it really is awesome. So if you go to post an update, you can see that I can share it to Facebook or Twitter. So without having to open the Twitter application, just by going to my Me tile, I can go ahead and say, hey, what's going on with you, with I spelled toy, with you, my happy, friendly tiger. Smiley face, whatever that means. So I can type that in, and I can instantly hit this button to send it, and it will post it to my Twitter account. You can follow me on Twitter, actually, at JoeMarin1 if you want to do that and stay connected to my personal account on Twitter. But it's really awesome to have, your Facebook and Twitter, everything from 2 social networking websites or even more if you have them on here in one tile. Now you can kind of do the same thing for other contacts in here. So you can see that I made one for my girlfriend Alyssa over here. So if I go ahead and tap on her tile, I can see her profile, her most latest post, which was from Twitter on Wednesday. I can see her, if I want to chat with her, I can go do so right through her tile. I can write on her wall, mention her on Twitter, send her an email. I can go to what's new and look at all of her latest updates. I can go to her photos and look at those and see our history between our messages on Facebook. And it's just really awesome being able to have that unification here on Windows Phone 8, and it really is pretty awesome. Now in terms of your phone, since this is a Nokia Lumia phone, you have access to Nokia's awesome collection of exclusive applications. You've got things on here pre-installed, such as Here City Lens, Here Drive Plus, Here Maps. You've also got Nokia Music right here, Nokia Cinematograph, all these awesome applications, which really do differentiate the Lumia 928 and other Nokia Lumia products from things such as the Samsung Active Odyssey or the HTC AX. Now, while we're on the topic of applications, I would like to point out Microsoft's Windows Store. Microsoft's Windows Store, while you may be a little concerned about it, it is actually catching up to the content offerings of Apple's App Store and Google's Play Store. Now, I'm not saying that they're there just yet. They still have quite a bit to go, but they are improving. You have full official application support for apps such as Facebook, Twitter, Skype, Pandora, Speedtest.net, IMDb, Xbox games, and you also have unofficial third-party applications for things like Instagram, Vine, YouTube, and Trello, which actually work pretty great. They're very well polished. For example, for the YouTube application, this is a third-party one that I downloaded, and you can see it's got a nice user interface for the Metro UI. I guess it's Metro UI, for the Windows Phone 8 UI, and everything just looks really good. It's very fast. We can go to the application for Vine, which is, again, a third-party one. And it functions exactly the same like you would expect it to on a Vine app for Twitter or for Android or iOS. Even though it is third-party and not directly from Vine, it still runs really great. So, again, the content offerings aren't there just yet, but Microsoft is slowly catching up. Now, the Nokia Lumia 928 is starting to sell on Verizon Wireless for a new 2-year contract for only $99. And considering this is a flagship device, that's a pretty incredible price tag. And with everything else I've said about the phone, I ended up giving the Nokia Lumia 928 a 9 out of 10. This is an awesome, awesome phone here. Probably one of the best Windows Phone 8 devices I have used to date. Now, in terms of pros, you got a nice design. It feels very sturdy and durable. Screen is very sharp. Snappy processors. Camera is a really great performer. Excuse me. I got a hiccup there. Darn hiccups. A long-lasting battery. Windows Phone 8 is as fast as fluid as ever and very fun to use. Now, in terms of cons, again, there is no expandable storage, and Microsoft's Windows Store still isn't up to the quality of Apple's App Store, Google's Play Store, but those are about my only two real cons here with the device. Now, even though I said this is one of the best Windows Phone 8 devices I've ever used, also right now reviewing the HTC 8X from Verizon Wireless, so I'm going to be very interested to see how these two smartphones stack up to each other. These are both the latest flagship Windows Phone 8 devices on Verizon Wireless, and I'm really having a pretty awesome time here with the HTC 8X. I'm really, really loving it a lot. It may be a little bit more than the 928. So, and for a future video idea, I don't know what you guys think, but I was thinking about maybe doing a comparison video between these two phones and kind of comparing them side by side, doing a little versus video of the two. So let me know if you would like to see a video like that. But for the Lumia 928 itself, awesome phone, $99 for the 2-year contract for a flagship phone. Very, very awesome, well made, awesome hardware, awesome software, all in all, a very, very cool product. With all that said, though, that is about all the time we have for this episode of Mobile Cup of Joe. Guys, if you liked the video, please go ahead and hit the like button if you liked it. It takes 1 second to do so, and it really does help support the show. And if you want to show support towards the show even more, I would really appreciate it if you go ahead and hit the subscribe button for more Mobile Cup of Joe videos. If you want to stay in touch some more, make sure to follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook for the latest MCOJ news, and head on over to www.mobilecupofjoe.com for the latest in technology news, reviews, giveaways, and more. I am Joe Marin from mobilecupofjoe.com. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.